Hey guys, it's 242 again, and today we're going to be reading 5 revenge stories from 3 different subreddits. So let's get started. So our first story today is from the subreddit Petty Revenge. Block the Fox. Through some circumstances entirely beyond our control, COVID, I am living with my in-laws. My mother-in-law is gracious and kind and is really fantastic to live with. My father-in-law is petty and contentious. Except with me. He just won't talk to me. He thinks it's supposed to hurt my feelings. I come from a family who don't talk to one another almost as a matter of course. He's mad because my wife, his daughter, and I eloped nearly 10 years ago because he did not support our relationship. Well, after about a month of being ignored, I decide I can be petty too. I blocked the Fox domain on our router. Oh, I forgot to mention my father-in-law is a religious Fox watcher and seems to think Trump can do no wrong. Yep, petty. He started it. Short, sweet, and I love it. So our second story is from the subreddit Petty Revenge as well. Insane Mom. So my mother is pretty much the world's worst mother in existence. She accused me of lying when I was sexually assaulted, threatened and attacked me because I was dating someone who was not white. F you, Karen. We're married now. Knew I was being sexually assaulted by a family member. Tried to force me to drop out of school because it interferes with childbearing. I do not want children. And has stolen from me. The petty revenge is about the stealing. I lived with her for about 20 years. Birth to age 20. During that 20 years, she stole so much from me. She stole clothes, money, personal items, food, etc. Anything she felt she could use or deserved more than me was now hers. When confronted, she would blatantly lie. Usually I was told, "You stole it from me first." Anyway, I moved out a year ago and stole to my heart's content. I stole cookbooks with her favorite recipes, Christmas ornaments that she loved, that lipstick that was for special occasions, and any other stuff that wouldn't immediately be noticed. Did she ruin my childhood? Yeah. Will I ruin her future Christmases and day night? F yeah. So I really love this petty revenge because she picked stuff that her mother's not going to notice right away, but I don't know if she didn't notice that there's one little bit more of revenge she has. When her mother finds out that she doesn't want kids, that would be awesome to be a fly on the wall to see. So our third story is from the subreddit ProRevenge. Redneck thinks it's funny to yank out mailboxes. My dad makes him pay. Disclaimer, this happened a long time ago, but still makes me giggle to this day. So way back in the day, mid-90s or so, my family lived in a log cabin on 10 acres of land in a rural area 10 minutes or so out of town. It wasn't totally the sticks, but you could definitely hear banjo music in the background sometimes. At the end of our nearly quarter-mile-long driveway was one of those roads that was also technically a state highway. In the morning, I trudged down to wait for the bus. When I got home, I grabbed the mail and carried it back. Until one Monday morning when I went out and noticed that the mailbox was gone. On closer inspection, it looked like it had just been ripped out of the ground. Dad was obviously not pleased. He went to talk to the county sheriff, who happened to live a mile down the road. Turns out it had been happening up and down the road for months. Someone was tossing a chain over the mailboxes and yanking them out with their vehicle. He suspected a guy down the road with his giant big lifted 4-wheel truck, but couldn't prove anything. Usually happened on Saturday or Sunday night with people finding out in the morning. Also seemed the nicer the mailbox, the bigger the target, and many had been hit multiple times. People had tried digging deeper, using more durable woods, etc. The guy just took it as a challenge, ripped them out again, soft, sandy ground, and his truck was a monster. Well, Dad said, "Challenge effing accepted." A bit about my father. He's a steel worker with an engineering background and a graduate degree. built like a bear with forearms the size of frickin' legs. Most people looking at him would never think the monster of a man is also brilliant, but he is. The calm, cool type that never, almost never, loses his temper. But wrong him, God help you. So Dad goes to Lowe's and buys the fanciest, prettiest mailbox they sell. He then proceeds to install it on top of an 8-foot long cylinder of a 3-inch diameter hardened tool steel. But he wasn't done there. After digging down with post holders and dropping it in, he then filled it with quick-set cement. To really sell it, he then used some strips of 1/2-inch wood to cover the steel core of his now indestructible mailbox of doom. Primed and painted them so it looked like your standard 4-inch post. And even had my mom decorate with flowers and such. He wanted to be as tempting of a target as possible. Didn't even take a week. I went out for school in the morning and found the mailbox right where it should be. Attached to it was a 30 feet of chain and an entire hitch assembly. Ripped right off from the truck's frame, sheared the bolts. It was marvelous to behold. Sheriff gets called over, dies laughing when he sees it. He went to the house of the guy that was suspected and sure enough verified the damage to his truck matched. Fun fact, effing with mailbox is a federal crime, as in you'll go to federal prison, not those cushy state places. Dad was unofficially rewarded by the sheriff's department with a few cases of beer and some venison. And after that, every deputy in town would flash him a thumbs up whenever they saw him. Edit. Apparently vandalism to mailbox is far more common than I thought, and other people have taken similar measures. I guess great minds think alike. Edit 2. As many have commented, apparently federal prison is actually a lot better than state. Didn't know that. Sorry. I have seen a few other stories similar to this, and yeah, it does seem to be a big problem. But every time I think, great job OP or OP's dad, that's friggin' amazing. But it's the first time I saw someone go to jail because of it, though. So our fourth story from the subreddit ProRevenge is, roommate thought she was sneaky, ended up owing me $400 and got suspended. This is a long one. So this happened my second semester dorming at my college campus. I had met my roommate at orientation, and I could kind of already tell she was going to be a pain in my arse. And I was right about that. I had planned on moving rooms to be closer to some friends the next semester. But let me get to the story that led to my revenge. On our campus, you had to pay for meals using your student ID, which had a certain amount of money on it each semester. You could also use an app that you put your name and ID info into, and it makes it easier to pay. But the name and ID must match for it to work, which will be important later. All funds from the fall semester would roll over into the spring. But then at the end of spring, it would just expire. Because of this, and because I only ate once or twice a day, I had a ton saved up on my card. My roommate, on the other hand, did not. So I offered to pay for some of her meals from time to time in trade of her picking up food for us, which involved her using my card twice in person and then returning it. Then, one day, I noticed on my app that my card was being charged even when I'm not ordering food. And not just a meal, like a meal for several people. This meant whoever was ordering, I wonder who, either had stolen my ID card, which I had in my pocket when I got the charge, or was impersonating my info in the app, which are both big no-nos on my campus. I was quick to put 2 and 2 together and was pretty pissed. I was initially going to confront her on it, but decided to formulate a plan instead. That day I went and ordered a second ID card for $25 to use for later. As it took a couple of weeks to get the new one, I let her charge several things to my card over a good 2 weeks for her and her friends. and she wasn't very good at hiding it either, as they would come to our dorm and eat. Well, I would just screenshot and send emails to the support team of the app about the charges, knowing nothing would get done until I contacted someone in person. And one day it got even better, as you can buy groceries with the card off campus as well. She decided to pay for some alcohol with my card, which doesn't get pinged as an issue on my card due to me being over 21, but she's only 19. Not sure how she got it, but it was just the thing to finally act on my plan. I put my best sad face on and contacted the head of campus living and the head of the dorms about the charges on my account. I dropped some hints that it could be my roommate and mentioned I got a new ID card and asked what I should do. I was told to order a new card, and once I got it, to deactivate my current card and use the new one for purchases from now on, making my old card have a balance of $0 and also to ping if someone uses it to buy anything. They also told me they would be visiting my dorm to discuss the issue with my roommate. I accepted that and waited. They sent the confirmation email that they would be visiting, and I just decided to add more fuel to the fire. My roommate was groaning about not having the funds for food in front of me in our dorm. I told her I really couldn't help her as I was running low on funds, and she kind of just laughed it off and left the room to probably go use my old card. I deactivated my first card right after she left, and surprise, surprise, she used my info to pay. Except when she tried to pay for her and her friends this time, it declined and pinged that my ID was used. Pretty much perfect timing for our meeting with campus living. She was scared shitless when they came to the door to talk and look for her things. On her phone, still logged into the app, was my ID information and name. And in her dorm closet was a half-full bottle of cheap vodka, and on my phone was a screenshot of said unauthorized vodka purchase. In the end, she was forced to pay me back all the funds she used in cash, report for underage drinking, which automatically suspends you from campus living for at least a year, and would have on her record that she performed identity theft, which I also could have charged her for out of school. In the end, I got to have my own dorm for the remaining of that semester and even part of the semester after, because it wasn't put as an available room for new dormers. I did get all my money back from her parents, who were so embarrassed and apologized profusely. And when she did eventually come back to campus, no one wanted to dorm with her because they knew she had stolen a roommate's ID. I think in the end she rented off campus. I'm surprised OP's roommate thought she could get away with this, especially since there's an app tied to the IDs and you can see exactly what's being charged in real time. So this roommate was a complete idiot and looks like she almost ruined her life. So I think she got her just desserts, and I hope this was a wake-up call for her, because identity theft really can get you in some trouble. I think OP did make the right call, got all the evidence together, and showed this girl that you can't get away with this. So our last story is from Nuclear Revenge. Cheat on me and I'll ruin your life for everybody you touch. Ronnie was a serial cheater throughout high school, but he was more than that. He was manipulative. He would blow through relationships, typically 4 at a time. They would only last a week to a couple of months before the girls would catch him cheating. He'd proceed to leak their nudes or spill their secrets and then move on to a new demographic of women. He was charismatic and scapegoated his problems onto his dying father. It didn't matter anyhow. He would destroy the victim's reputation until they weren't trusted anyways. Despite this, I was in love. I was his side piece through it all. Morally, I knew it was wrong, but I had never been in love before. Besides, he wasn't lying to me like the other girls. He was honest about the fact he was cheating. I was special. I stuck it out. 2 years later, he'd fall in love with me too. Or so I thought. He vowed to give up cheating, even give up porn, just to have me love him back. I accepted it. We planned to marry. He was always so smart about his manipulation. When friends blocked me randomly or called me abusive, I thought it was just some misunderstanding. When people began to become aware of my deep, personal secrets, I thought maybe I'd slip up during a conversation. No one ever told me Ronnie had been calling me abusive, a cheater, or a liar. I never knew he was accusing me of being the things he secretly was. He would insult me late at night, before bed, and then claim he didn't remember it in the morning. He would slide comments into our talks, just enough to make me doubt myself but never question him. He was a master at gaslighting until I hated myself and only wanted to please him. I was head over heels in love, despite all of it. He would slap me across the face and I would be too shocked to speak. He would follow it up by laughing or playing it off as okay to do, or as a joke, so I wouldn't fight back. If I expressed it was wrong or told anyone, he'd say I misunderstood a playful tap. Halfway through our relationship, I followed work to another state and maintained a long-distance relationship with him. It was my dream. I wanted so badly to stay. But after 8 months, I gave up my home, my pets, and my job to move 1,000 miles across the country to live with him again. I had literally nothing and was absolutely penniless. 3 months after this, I caught him cheating. He had asked a girl on a date via an alt Twitter account. I was hurt, but ultimately it wasn't so bad, so I forgave him. The seed of doubt was already planted, however. 2 months later, I snooped through his phone and noticed he had several Reddit accounts saved to Chrome. I vaguely recalled he used Reddit to view porn before, and I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I began to guess his common email/password combo. I got 5 hits total. There was more than I expected. I figured maybe he was lying about watching porn, which is not a big deal to me, but for 6 months he had been using these accounts to cheat on me using hookups and porn subreddits. I confronted him. He screamed, telling me he had already apologized to me for cheating a few months ago, and I needed to quit making him sad. That he had already said sorry and I wasn't going to get anything else. He explained that he had continued to cheat because he feared I would leave and he wanted a second option. I spent a week and a half sobbing. I had nothing but this man and I had never been good enough for him. I was destroyed. He screamed at me nearly every day, telling me my crying was annoying, that my depression made him uncomfortable, telling my friends I was guilt-tripping him over something that didn't happen. Finally, I snapped. I had wasted all of my high school and early adult years with a man who did nothing but walk on me. I went back to Reddit and counted every person he had flirted with or exchanged messages with. I began to voice record every conversation, screenshot every text. Next, I downloaded Tinder and Bumble. For every girl he cheated on me with, I effed a guy behind his back. When we went out with friends, I began to act more and more sad, slowly dropping in conversations how Ronnie had been yelling at me the night before, and that it had upset me. I began to vent to his friends and show them every screenshot. Then I emailed his mother, his grandparents, and his work the voice recordings of him screaming at me. I asked his boss if his company supports domestic violence. I cried to his mother, and she held me as I vented my frustrations. Explained how she had been cheated on by Ronnie's father. Ronnie began to scapegoat again. He told me he was sick in the head, and his depression was causing him to act like that. I knew he was attempting to gaslight me. When we were young, I was so in love with him that I saved every photo and text he had sent me to a OneDrive. I found all the times he had attempted to leak nudes, cheating, and ruining girls' lives. I got in contact with each of the girls, making one big group chat and sending them every bit of evidence I could find. These were then posted all over Facebook. He had dreams of getting into politics. I joined every political group in our area and pretended to be interested in joining. I befriended the members and casually dropped into conversations how Ronnie had cheated on me, verbally abused me, and ruined other people's lives. They would inquire more. I would vent and show them the mountain of evidence I had collected. Ronnie was still unaware I had done it. He spent the night screaming and crying about how no one liked him and he wasn't sure why. He had lost his job, his friends and family wouldn't speak to him. He was publicly shamed on social media and his political group had ostracized him. I had finally dropped it onto him that I had done it and I was leaving. During all of this, I had secretly removed what little money I had from his bank account and contacted distant relatives and asked for a place to stay. I was leaving. He didn't have anything left to abuse or manipulate. I don't have a solid ending for this. I just want to say, F you, Ronnie. I wasted my youth being abused, and I won't stand for it anymore. So apparently this was originally posted on ProRevenge, but they decided it was too strong. I agree, this is definitely nuclear, and I say bravo. This guy was a manipulative asshat, and really, I think he deserved worse, but I'm strongly against domestic abuse and the stuff that happened here. So I'm very happy she got out of this situation, and she did it so smartly. So, bravo, OP, bravo. And with that, we're at the end of our video, so remember to like if you enjoyed the stories, to subscribe if you want to hear more from me, and of course to ring that bell, that pretty bell, if you want to get notifications on this. So you guys have a very good night, take care of yourselves, bye!